Alright, so we got the block painted. This video we're going to be mainly working on the heads. I just want to give you guys a heads up. I am going to pull these pistons out and file the ring gaps, or at least check the ring gaps. Sometimes they end up fine. What I'm going to shoot for is pretty much anything over 18 to 20 thousandths is fine for me. This motor, I won't say it won't ever get to high boost, but I'm gonna run it for a while on 14 pounds or less, so not super worried about it. If I gap over that, I guess I'll just put it in the video what I actually gap it to. I'm not gonna show it. There's several people that have videos of gapping rings, and it's very tedious, and I think it's rather boring to film and probably to watch if you already know what you're doing. If not, there's several other videos that you can find on the internet that show you how to ring gap correctly. So like I said, I'm gonna shoot for like 20 thousandths ring gap. Some of them may be there, some of them might not be. I'm going to take these pistons out, clean them up. Like I said, not going to film any of it. When we get to putting the cam in and stuff and doing the heads, I'll film that, because there's less videos out there of that, and I think that's more enjoyable to see. So we'll take it from here and we'll start out. When I get this done, we'll throw the new cam and lifters in and show you guys from there. So there is one thing I did want to show you guys about these pistons. This is actually a 6.0 piston. I've actually got mine back in the block. If you find one of these high mileage motors and you're taking it apart to clean it, almost the most important thing when doing that is these oil drain channels here. What happens is those protrude halfway under this expansion ring here on the oil control ring. When those clogged up with burnt oil, it makes it just have oil sit and burn into this oil control wave washer, or I guess a wave ring, and you'll end up with what I had. It's going to be kind of hard to tell how thick it is, but there's almost no there's almost like it's almost flat across. This doesn't have any opening anymore. It's just all baked on oil. So what I actually did was went ahead and bought a ring set for this motor and just put in just the oil control rings. I don't really like doing that, but basically when I went to gap all my rings were over 22 thousandths in gap when I put them in, so I just reused the stock rings and then wouldn't have to gap the new ones. Like I said, I got lucky there. They're over what I wanted, so I didn't have to file any of my rings. But that's just one thing to look for. Let me take care of this and I'll show you guys what the short block looks like. So I've got this thing pretty well stripped down to nothing. By nothing I mean no cam, no lifters, no trays. Cleaned all the crap off of that. Cleaned my valley cover here and gasket area. Sprayed everything out. Tried to clean everything as best as possible. I did find a couple irregularities in the lifters. I only found two that were noticeably bad, and another one was kind of scratchy on the roller end of it. This motor was higher mileage, had lifter noise. Without being able to hydraulically test them, then they're fairly cheap, so you just replace them. But yeah, I got the cam out, got the lifters out, etc. I've got LS7 lifters that are soaking. This is TRC oil, which is just something I had laying around for a diesel. Texas Refinery Corp. My buddy kind of swears by their oil, so lifters are soaking in that. We got a cam over here. I think I showed you guys a lot earlier, but it's a custom grind by a company called JFR, and I don't have the cam card for it. Where did it go? Seems like a guy that would film would know where all the stuff is beforehand, huh? Wow. You can't really see this writing. There goes the socket. I guess I'll just read it to you. Grind is 224, 350, 228, 350, 112 plus 4. Like I said, JFR, I talked to him, Jarrett, which is the owner, and he sends out cam grinds basically to Cam Motion and has them ground. 224, 228 at 350. 350 is the lobe lift, not the rocker lift. LS's in a factory setup have a 1.7 rocker, I think. Don't quote me on it, but the advertised lift at the valve is 585 on both, I think. It's less than 600. It's a very mild cam. I wanted a good street driven cam that still had, you know, it still sounded good at idle, and it still you know, makes power low RPM, so we didn't go with a whole lot of duration. I kind of wanted a little less. Okay guys, I had a brain fart. I kind of wanted a little less lobe separation angle. I think his normal grind is a 113 or 14. I went with a 112. Like I said, it's kind of a custom grind cam. It's not really that much more expensive. Like, you can buy a Brian Tooley cam for like within $50 of what this cam costs. But we're gonna see how it goes. The guy's kind of well known. He's cut sloppy a few cams, Matt Happel. But yeah, just like going with a different cam, you know, than off the shelf. That car over there is a custom ground cam with from Powell, which is another small company. You know, I like trying different things, see if they work. And you know, you can buy a cam that'll work cheap off the shelf. They all do the same thing, but there's only so many people that actually cut the cams. But there's a lot of people that have their own, you know, grind recipe that you can buy from them and they send out. So without too much more babbling, I'll show you guys what I found on the two lifters. And it's going to be kind of hard to see, so I'm going to hold them up here for just a second. Let me lay them on the car, actually. No, I can't barely even find it. Oh, there it is. This one's a lot more noticeable, I think. Ah, you turd sandwich. Okay. Man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick it up on camera. I think you can see it on the left one there. That black line there looks like a fracture. It's right there at the end of my finger. And I'm trying to kind of not. I've never actually seen an LS lifter break like this. Maybe it's common, maybe I haven't seen or looked at a lot of them, but oh yeah, you can see it right there. But it looks like maybe it was coming apart. I don't know. Both of them are like that. This one's a lot worse. So I just kind of kept it to show you guys. That was really the only noticeable damage, other than like the one had like a catchy roller on it. So I just dumped them all in the trash. Like I said, I've got new ones, new LS7 lifters, and then I've got new trays. Probably gonna throw the cam in, let the lifter soak a little more, cover the engine up, and then be back at it tonight. So sliding the new cam in. I'm sure you guys know this already, but a water pump bolt will screw right into the end of this cam, and just kind of help you give a handle on it. They make handles for them, but they're expensive. And you already have a water pump bolt because you have an LS that you're building, so why not use it? Go ahead and smash around in here and try not to nick the bearings any more than necessary. No real reason that I'm doing this with the engine on its side. I'm not really sure why, honestly. There we are. Perfect fit. DLS, the slot right here, there's a main oil galley, so if your engine isn't low miles or whatever, or if you don't feel like there's any seal left here, if it's just completely flattened off, it's a good idea to buy one of these plates. They do make two, an early and a later model style. Most will tell you it designates with a like a chamfered style countersunk bolt type. This is the old style that just uses the normal bolts, so you order the old style. And if I'm not mistaken, these torque to 18. I'll note it in the video if it's not 18, but I think it is. It's either 18 or 22. So I have both the cam retainer torqued in. It was 18 foot-pounds. Also the cam itself, the cam gear is 18 foot-pounds. I torqued them to 20. Also put red Loctite on the bolts. Just that's something you don't want coming loose. But they have this dimple here to signify top dead center mark. And then they have a dimple. I think you can see the dimple on that tooth down there. You just need to line these up. There's actually quite a bit of slop in these. A lot of people complain about how much slop there is. On the later versions, they actually put a tensioner in there. I don't worry about it. It's not. Many engines have been built this way. so I don't really worry about you know, it having slop. Like I said, there's been many engines that have been built this way. So I went the wrong way. Anyways, I'm not putting this cover on because I've got to modify it to put my drain in here somewhere. Probably gonna be throwing the lifters in and then starting to build the cylinder heads.